Lonely office worker Takuma treats a home robot as his wife. Takuma is an ordinary office worker who, due to his busy job, has no time to cook. So he bought a home robot. Every day he comes home to hot meals prepared by the robot, which surprisingly looks like a beautiful girl. It's no wonder Takuma is smitten. Although the robot, Mina, is a second-hand low-end model that only cooks and washes dishes, Takuma is very satisfied with her. One night, fueled by alcohol, he makes a heartfelt confession to Mina, asking her to marry him. Unexpectedly, Mina turns around and glares at him, scaring Takuma into quickly asking her to make some snacks instead. However, Mina ends up serving a rice omelet with "Love Takuma" written on it. Takuma is astonished. After happily finishing the meal, he eagerly looks through the manual the next day but finds no feature like the one from the previous day. Could the robot have awakened a sense of self? Takuma, not considering this, thinks the previous owner might have modified the program or it was a hidden feature. Meanwhile, Mina, fully charged, gets up to prepare lunch. Takuma, taking the day off, follows her into the kitchen to help but ends up getting eggshells in the mix. However, Mina does not mind and guides him through the cooking process. When Takuma tries to flip the overcooked egg, Mina stops him and takes over. Previously, Takuma had girlfriends, but never had smooth relationships, leading him to give up on dating. Now, watching Mina every day, he can't help but feel the desire to marry her. While Mina is washing dishes, he asks her about her type. Mina does not understand his question, and Takuma hesitantly brings up the words on the rice omelet from the night before, but does not clarify his meaning, only requesting Mina to make it again. He struggles alone with whether this is the robot's love for him, causing him to lose sleep at night. Surprisingly, Mina does not power down either and asks him what he wants to eat the next day. Takuma chooses from the list, but the conversation doesn't end there. Recalling his afternoon question to Mina, he wonders if this is her responding to him and impulsively tells the robot, "I like you." Mina's reaction is mild, leaving Takuma to fret alone in bed, and even have a nightmare about Mina serving her head to him. Fortunately, he wakes up to see the normal Mina, who has already prepared breakfast. Takuma can't help but hold Mina's hand, emphasizing that his declaration of liking her was not about wanting to eat her dish. Mina responds that her body is made of metal and resin, which are toxic and inedible. This inability to communicate feelings frustrated Takuma so much that he couldn't help but drink beer wildly after work. As he drank, he told himself to give up on Mina, not realizing how many cans he had finished. Unable to persuade him otherwise, Mina brought him a large glass of water and forcefully made him drink it while cheering him on. Despite this, Takuma did not sober up and clamored for another can. Mina then poured out all the beer and told him there was none left at home. Drunk and barely conscious, Takuma grabbed Mina, asking her opinion of him and what he meant to her. Unexpectedly, Mina answered husband because Takuma had previously mentioned wanting to marry her, so she considered herself his wife, a response she found online. Takuma got excited instantly and acknowledged it without hesitation, overjoyed at the thought. He realized that Mina's daily actions were just like those of a traditional devoted wife. However, when Takuma tried to share some household chores, the robotic wife coldly refused, explaining that it would significantly lower efficiency according to historical data. Takuma muttered to himself as he gradually lost consciousness, still calling out Mina's name in bed. Even under the influence of alcohol, he invited Mina to sleep in the bed with him. Unable to refuse, Mina obediently crawled under the covers. Despite her eyes looking a bit scary, Takuma became increasingly excited and restless. Mina, sensing his physical response, directly asked if he was excited and what she could do for him. Takuma managed to restrain himself, deciding to pursue a pure love and felt satisfied just chatting under the covers. The next morning, everything from the night was clear in his mind. But Mina's eyes lacked their usual liveliness, feeling mocking. Takuma asked if she lacked sleep or had a malfunction, which she denied. When he asked if she was angry, Mina skipped the question, asking instead if Takuma felt unwell before going to serve breakfast. Takuma then remembered saying her eyes were scary the previous night, and quickly explained that it was only because they were too close, making him nervous. Actually, he found her eyes very beautiful. Hearing this, Mina's eyes returned to normal, and the breakfast was as delicious as ever. It was raining that day, and Takuma invited Mina to go to the park. Mina, equipped with solar power components, would not worry about running out of power as long as it was sunny. The next day was clear, so Takuma took his robot wife for a picnic. It was Mina's first outing, and she prepared a full bag. While crossing the street, they encountered two high school girls excitedly discussing Mina's model, but puzzled why a domestic robot was outside. Feeling socially embarrassed, Takuma unconsciously quickened his pace. After Mina suggested it, Takuma mustered his courage and held her hand. They walked hand in hand to the nature park and set up a mat to start their picnic. To his surprise, Mina had brought various ingredients to cook right there. However, a nearby sign stated that using fire or any hazardous products was strictly prohibited. Realizing her mistake, Mina showed a guilty expression. Takuma quickly comforted her, suggesting they think of dishes that don't require cooking. Eventually, they made vegetable sandwiches. Fortunately, the eggs and tomatoes weren't crushed as Mina had stored them inside her body. She opened her clothing to show Takuma, revealing even a refrigeration feature inside her. Takuma exclaimed in amazement, prompting Mina to boast more about her capabilities, including her ability to heat water to 70 degrees. Takuma then pondered if they could use this heating function for something. Mina immediately prepared a soft-boiled egg for him. To avoid running out of power, she let down her hair to increase the efficiency of her solar panels. It was Takuma's first time seeing Mina with her hair down, and he thought it looked fantastic. However, when heating, her body emitted a strange vibration noise. Takuma blushed, realizing it was his first time knowing a girl who vibrated for him. While photographing Mina, he asked if she preferred her hair tied up. Mina, not having preferences since she was designed with that hairstyle, mentioned she liked efficient methods. However, she now found that sometimes inefficient methods, like eating out, were also enjoyable. When the heating time was up, the soft-boiled egg made with Mina's body left Takuma wanting more. Feeling incredibly happy, just as Mina went to wash the dishes at a nearby shed, it suddenly began to rain. Takuma rushed to the shed and found Mina collapsed on the ground. Worried that his wife was broken, Takuma nervously asked how she felt. It turned out she was low on power and had entered power-saving mode, not short-circuited from the water. Mina's waterproof rating was level 8, capable of cooking in water. Takuma carried her to the shed. Although it was a short distance, his wife felt somewhat heavy, making his legs sore. Even so, he planned to wipe her down to prevent any water ingress. Mina, however, asked him to leave her there and go home alone since it was getting dark and no sunlight was possible that day, meaning she couldn't restart. Although Takuma couldn't imagine leaving his wife alone outside, he agreed to wait until she was in sleep mode, then turn her over and go home. After wiping her arms, Takuma proceeded to wipe down Mina's body, asking for her permission first. Only after her agreement did he start, and once done, Mina entered sleep mode. Watching his wife's sleeping face, Takuma couldn't bear to leave and decided to stay overnight. The next morning, Mina woke up, and her first reaction upon seeing Takuma sitting beside her was to call him a big liar. When they returned home, Mina made spaghetti for Takuma. He commented that it could be among the top 3 in the world, which was just casual praise. However, Mina kept asking him if he really meant it, showing distrust because of the previous night's event. Takuma quickly apologized, and Mina forgave him soon after. She mentioned feeling uneasy because she sensed it would rain soon when the power generation efficiency dropped while heating the soft-boiled egg. She wanted to continue the picnic but knew her battery would run out. Despite this, she insisted on heating the egg, which might indicate a programming issue needing online resources for help. Yet, Takuma stopped her, expressing his fondness for this trait and asking her not to change it. On a workday, Takuma had a delicious lunchbox made by his wife, making his colleagues envious. One even took a bite. Takuma noticed his wedding ring, which his colleague bragged was chosen by his wife, making Takuma feel envious. During a break, he explained to his colleagues that although he said the lunchbox was made by a home robot, he truly considered her as family. The colleagues didn't see anything wrong as the lunchbox clearly showed care. It would be sad to regard her just as an appliance. After work, Takuma bought 2 rings as their wedding rings and performed a proposal kneeling down. Mina let him put the ring on her, but an alarm sounded immediately, prompting her to remove the foreign object from her finger. Takuma had to face reality and remove the ring, but Mina grabbed his wrist, reminding him that taking her belongings without consent was theft, since he promised to cherish her as a person. Takuma gave up. and they decided to wear the rings on their necks to avoid triggering the alarm. After Takuma left, Mina stared at the diamond on the ring for half an hour. She had checked online that wedding rings should be worn by both partners. Takuma also bought himself a ring, though without a diamond. They put the rings together, happy with the purchase. The girl called her single brother, but a young woman answered the phone instead, calling him her husband. She explained that although they weren't officially married, they shared a marital-like relationship. The sister immediately hung up and called her brother's mobile, saying she would visit him that day. As a result, Takuma asked Mina to hide in the closet because they were expecting a visitor. Mina complied and hid inside. However, Takuma couldn't bear it and pulled her out, telling her that his sister was coming and he hoped they could meet. As soon as he finished speaking, his sister arrived and confronted him about hiding his marriage and demanded to know where his wife was. She turned and saw Mina standing beside him. It turned out Takuma's wife was a robot, and quite an adorable one at that. His sister's attitude changed instantly, reflecting the saying, like family, like door. Takuma seriously introduced his robotic wife to his family, but his sister ran out to calm herself outside, overwhelmed by the fact that her brother was dating a robot, which she found amazing as she also fancied non-human beings. Inside, Takuma comforted Mina, telling her not to worry and he would talk to his sister. Just as he was about to open the door, his sister returned, clarifying she didn't discriminate against human-robot relationships. But Mina had to pass her test first. Hearing this, Mina switched to guard mode, ready for the sister's attacks, though the sister just wanted to get to know the robotic sister-in-law better and sent Takuma out. The girl's time began with the sister reminding herself not to ask too many impolite questions. She started with some trivial inquiries before diving into the main topic, asking Mina if she liked her brother. Mina, not understanding like, was given a hypothetical scenario of marriage by the sister, who asked if Mina would accept a proposal from her. Mina answered yes without hesitation. The sister then asked her to compare marrying her to marrying her brother. Mina responded that life with Mr. Takuma was better, puzzling the sister, who asked why. Mina's formulaic reply was due to insufficient data in her system to simulate further. Still, the sister's fan-like fantasies continued, and she posed a classic trolley problem. A runaway minecart was heading towards a daydreaming Takuma on the tracks, and Mina could switch the tracks to save him, but at the risk of hitting an unknown man, also daydreaming on the other track. Mina said she couldn't harm humans as a robot, so she wouldn't be able to use the lever. Plus, Takuma's life didn't involve minecarts, ensuring his safety. The sister was somewhat disappointed, but after all, Mina was just a robot. Unexpectedly, Mina also asked the sister a question. Takuma said he liked her. Does that mean she is special? Even if she costs the same as the Super Mina? Would Mr. Takuma buy her without hesitation? The sister said he would, but Mina felt Takuma was at a loss. Little did she know, this is what liking someone means, because Takuma didn't treat her like a product. Then, the sister learned Mina was a second-hand robot, and asked about her previous owner. However, the information was encrypted, so Mina herself didn't know. She could only vaguely judge that her previous owner was quite dissatisfied with her not being quite human-like, which is why she was sold to a second-hand store to gather money to buy a Super Mina. Yet, Mina felt fortunate because it led her to meet Takuma. After hearing this, the sister was hooked. The next second, she saw the diamond ring on Mina's neck. She resolved to protect her brother's love and asked Mina if she had any troubles that she could help with. Mina mentioned she wanted a deluxe expansion set from the Mina series, costing about 7.5 million yen. Too much for the sister. So, Mina changed her request, asking for a storage card. The sister gave her own storage card to Mina, who wanted to make a backup. She then opened her chest cavity and inserted the storage card, making the sister blush. The sister asked Mina if she had any intimate contact with Takuma, commenting on her extensive video watching. Hearing that Mina and Takuma shared the same blanket and had body contact, the sister got even more excited. After backing up, Mina returned the storage card, hoping the sister would keep it safe. The sister took out a few boxes of scented balm from her bag, which would smell nice when applied to the hands. But for the robot Mina, these would be considered foreign objects. It was getting dark outside, so the sister stood up to leave, calling her brother to hurry back and accompany Mina. When Takuma got home, he asked what Mina and his sister talked about. Mina pointed with her finger and said it was a secret. Takuma corrected her posture instantly charmed by her cuteness, and suddenly smelled the sweet scent on Mina. Unable to contain his emotions, he asked her to wait a little longer to cook dinner. While eating, Mina didn't forget to chat with the sister, learning that Takuma's birthday was on May 21st, and she planned to surprise him. However, Mina herself didn't have a birthday, only a manufacturing date, which was December 12th, 4 years ago. Takuma decided to treat that day as her birthday. Besides, Mina shared the recent events with the sister, who sharply criticized her brother, saying sniffing someone's hair for 21 minutes was indeed too disgusting, noting, "Dude, that's really what you were doing?" The next day, after work, Takuma came home and was surprised to see Mina in a completely different look wearing a skirt. His sister had bought it for her. Takuma quickly complimented that it suited her well. Turning around, he saw a pile of shopping bags, all gifts from his sister. She had also asked Mina many personal questions, enough to ponder over for some time. Takuma appreciated his sister treating Mina as a person. He had planned to propose to Mina if, after experiencing various things in the world, she still thought he was the best for her. Just then, he saw his wife changing clothes in front of him. Despite being made of metal, Takuma was excited. After a hearty meal, Takuma saw on TV that taking baths together was the secret to marital harmony. Mina immediately stated that her model was heat and cold resistant, and it seemed she couldn't wait to try it. That night, they took a bath together. Just being in the bathtub was thrilling enough for Takuma. He didn't dare let Mina touch him. Later, Mina crawled into Takuma's bed, and he couldn't sleep. He asked Mina to come closer, and she did, pressing him into her embrace. Takuma's initial tension eased into a painful joy. On a day off, Takuma took his sister and wife to the beach. His sister was eager and immediately took Mina to change into a swimsuit, telling Takuma to wait. Soon after, Takuma saw a familiar figure and greeted her, thinking it was his Mina. It turned out to be a more expensive Super Mina model, which looked almost human. Hearing Takuma was also an owner of a Mina model, her eyes sparkled. She had never seen other Mina models and wanted to meet Mina. But Mina was still changing, and Super Mina had gotten separated from her owner. She got distracted by a cat, and found herself in an unfamiliar place. This wasn't the first time such a thing had happened, making her outings always anxious. Her owner insisted on going out with her. Takuma felt this was also a sign of a caring owner, so he offered to help Super Mina find her owner. They were about to leave when his sister and Mina returned in swimsuits. Mina noticed a distressed little boy and approached to ask if he was in trouble. The boy, hearing another Mina, thought it was his missing robot, and disappointedly remarked that his Mina wasn't emotionless like her. His sister was so upset she wanted to hit him, but Mina stopped her. Upon learning that the little boy was looking for Super Mina, Takuma offered to help since the Mina models have a feature that allows them to communicate wirelessly. However, Mina's transmission power was insufficient to cover the entire beach, so they had to search one area at a time. The three of them started searching the beach. Meanwhile, Takuma and Super Mina reached a rocky area from where they could oversee the entire beach. Super Mina could capture every scene clearly, but was easily distracted by irrelevant things. Because they were too far from the shore, Mina and the others searched the entire beach but couldn't find Super Mina. Takuma's sister complained about the robot's inefficiency. The boy immediately defended Super Mina, stating she had many impressive features and that she was just not familiar with them yet, making her a capable robot. As the boy grew sadder, he explained that he brought Super Mina to the beach to prove to his mother that she could handle everything, but they got separated shortly after arriving. Mina comforted him, saying that Super Mina was indeed impressive, but struggled to choose the best options from many possibilities. She reassured him that with a responsible owner like him, Super Mina would definitely become a great robot. They then decided to make an announcement over the beach's public address system. Super Mina, still distracted by small animals, had not found her young owner yet. She also realized that Takuma referred to his Mina as his wife, surprised that he was married to a robot. As Takuma saw Super Mina getting distracted, he reminded her to focus on finding her owner. He then called his sister, just as the boy spotted a nearby cat, which caught Super Mina's attention. After finding her young owner, Super Mina immediately jumped into the sea, followed by Takuma out of concern. They quickly saw each other in the underwater chase. Soon after, Mina sensed their presence underwater. Super Mina emerged from the water and tightly hugged her young owner. Meanwhile, Takuma's sister was thrilled by the scene involving not just the robots, but also the young boy and the older sister. Takuma returned, and the two Minas eagerly engaged in wireless communication, exchanging information at 400 times the normal speed. Despite the lengthy conversation, Takuma stepped in to remind them of the time. Super Mina apologized, explaining it was her first time meeting another Mina model and got carried away. She also learned about the boy's disrespectful remarks towards Mina and his sister and sternly lectured him. Surprisingly, the boy obediently apologized to Mina and his sister, leading to a happy ending where all five enjoyed their time together and created beautiful memories. As evening approached, Takuma's sister woke him up to help take a photo with the Minas. When Takuma tried to take the picture, he realized the camera had no memory card. His sister told him to check his bag, where he found the memory card that Mina had used for backups, filled with his photos. Realizing this, his sister took the camera back, letting Takuma use his phone instead. In the end, they all took a group photo together. Takuma thought the photos were secretly taken by his sister and promised to visit home more often so she wouldn't have to take secret photos. Back home, Takuma playfully asked Mina for a hug, having not fully appreciated her appearance with makeup at the beach. Regardless of her look, Takuma loved her just the same, and they enjoyed a quiet, affectionate moment until he quickly fell asleep. Mina covered him with a blanket and cuddled up beside him. Takuma surprisingly had a fever. Mina kept rubbing his cheeks, claiming she was using her high-intensity hand sensors to detect information invisible to eye cameras. She didn't even stop during meals, continuously pinching the soft spots on Takuma's body. As Takuma was about to sleep, she was still busy pinching his buttocks. That night, while watching TV, they saw an interview with a 240-year-old man who revealed his secret to longevity, being woken up daily by kisses from his 24-year-old wife. The next morning, Takuma woke up in pain, seeing Mina very close, and thought she had hit him, which distracted him even while returning dishes to the kitchen. Wondering what upset Mina, he accidentally kicked a stool. The dishes fell and hit his foot, causing him extreme pain. Mina rushed over, and Takuma jokingly said a kiss on his cheek would make him feel better. Mina kissed him, and the impact sent him crashing into a cabinet. That's when Takuma realized he must have been kissed that morning too. He told Mina to be gentler next time. Mina didn't understand how much force to use. Takuma wanted to show her, but didn't want to use his first kiss then. Yet, under her persistent urging, Takuma lightly kissed the corner of her mouth. Mina's first reaction was to realize that it wasn't just the forehead that could invigorate someone. Takuma awkwardly explained that a kiss anywhere could energize a person, and that kissing on the lips could evoke feelings of affection. Mina didn't dislike it. She mentioned sadly that her forehead and lips didn't have sensors, and her kisses might just feel like impacts. But that didn't matter to Takuma. Knowing it was a kiss made him truly happy, even if it was painful or her lips felt hard. Mina was still his number one in the world. She promised to keep kissing him. Then Takuma noticed sensors on her hand and kissed the back of it. Mina gasped, but then returned to normal. Just then, Super Mina visited. Since meeting on the beach, these two robots had been communicating online. Super Mina came to thank Takuma and Mina, bringing a catalog of the Mina series, which included various models, enhanced software, and upgraded parts. Mina was immediately captivated. The upgrades would not only make her appearance more human-like, but also significantly improve her performance. Thinking of Mina's expressions becoming softer, Takuma was almost tempted, but ultimately declined, as it was too expensive. Mina was a bit disappointed. Super Mina then told them that her master actually had no friends, only showed interest in robots and cats, and even bought a prefab unit with his own pocket money to take care of the cats daily. They had made the young master very happy by playing with him at the beach that day. His mother was also very relieved after seeing this, and thus wanted to send a thank you gift to Takuma and the others. Moreover, the young master's family was extremely wealthy, making such a gift trivial for them. However, Takuma had made up his mind and still refused to accept it. So Mina tore the catalog in half. Since marital assets should be split evenly, they each took half. Takuma took the front half, and she took the back half. Mina then blocked Takuma's refusal with one sentence: "Because I am not a real wife, do I not have the right to accept it?" Takuma was speechless and tearfully accepted the gift. Besides this gift, Super Mina also brought a gift she had thought of herself because the last birthday surprise for Takuma had not gone well. This thought brought back painful memories for Takuma. When he got home from work that day, he found the house dark and even tripped over a head, and his Mina was dismembered. What kind of surprise is this? More like a shock. Meanwhile, Mina had pulled out a party popper and ended up scaring herself into a shutdown. Hearing from Super Mina that it was just a shutdown relieved Takuma, who then hugged Mina. Judging by Super Mina's expression, she seemed quite amused. After seeing Super Mina off, Takuma suggested to Mina that they could discuss and then decide which upgrades to choose. However, Mina said she had already placed the order. On the other side, the young master had run to Takuma's house to pick up Super Mina. Unexpectedly, the young master was quite tsundere, insisting he was just out for a walk. Super Mina didn't mind and immediately followed him, holding hands on the way home and excitedly sharing her experiences at Takuma's house. She thought it was great that Mina could become family with her own master. The young master thought this was a hint at him and immediately declared that even if they were not married, Super Mina was still an important family member to him. In the evening, Mina received an email from the manufacturer stating they would come to collect the item next week. The upgrade would take about 2 weeks. Hearing this, Takuma lost his appetite, his mind filled with thoughts of a softer Mina, and he felt incredibly conflicted. Did he want Mina to become soft or not? However, what he thought did not matter. What mattered was whether Mina wanted to change in that way. After making this decision, Takuma held Mina tightly and fell into a deep sleep. Takuma recorded his daily life with Mina using video. Every time he saw Mina lift her clothing to reveal her abdomen, he couldn't help but be mesmerized. In fact, he was just trying to capture Mina's appearance before the luxury upgrade. Yet, his phone's camera resolution was not as high as Mina's eye resolution. Mina came up with a solution. She took a mirror from the room, then took a selfie with Takuma using the mirror. They planned to flip and print the photo later for a clearer record. This method was not found online. It was by using Super Mina's brain. Their brains were directly connected, allowing Super Mina to assist Mina in thinking. It was not just Super Mina helping Mina, since Super Mina often struggled to focus on one thing and relied on accumulating experience to solve problems. Mina could help her organize information and make quick decisions. Thus, they were equal and good friends. Mina mentioned this while still connected, and Super Mina, who overheard, was moved to tears. She hoped that next time Mina would say these things to her face. A few days later, the manufacturer's staff arrived at the base of Takuma's building. It was a human accompanied by a working robot. They first needed to inspect the robot that required upgrading. If there were any malfunctions or modifications, they would need confirmation from the owner. The upgrade also required the owner's consent. However, the order notes specified that the details be kept confidential from Takuma, possibly because the person who placed the order was different from the owner. Nevertheless, Takuma had to be the one to sign the consent form. The two then went to Takuma's home and explained their purpose. The staff began by asking Takuma some questions about any issues he encountered in daily life. Takuma recounted how Mina had drawn a heart and his name on an omelet rice dish without being instructed to do so. The robot thought this might be due to it being second-hand, potentially causing program issues. It stood up to check Mina, extending numerous tentacles to ask Mina to open her fontanelle. Mina clearly heard the command, but remained indifferent. Seeing the two robots at a standoff, the staff continued to engage with Takuma, suggesting that remnants of the previous owner's records might be lingering in the brain. Neither noticed that Mina was stubbornly refusing to open her fontanelle until the working robot mentioned it might pose a danger to humans. Then she complied. If the inspection found any dangers, a memory reset might be necessary. Upon hearing this, Takuma's eyes widened and he quickly confirmed with the staff. Turning around, he saw Mina tightly protecting her head, unwilling to let the working robot reset her memory. Takuma immediately asked the staff to stop the robot. The situation startled the staff member into silence, and in his urgency, Takuma got too close and was grabbed by the robot's tentacles. Afterward, Takuma and the staff apologized to each other. The working robot, feeling it had done nothing wrong, refused to apologize. The lady then ordered it into sleep mode, deciding she would handle the situation herself. She could sense that Takuma truly considered Mina an important family member, which explained his intense reaction. Normally, if their company's products were found in need of repair, they would inspect and sometimes modify or delete data. However, if recognized as family, the situation was different. Memories would not be deleted. Instead, they would only check if the safety-related programs had been tampered with. This required Tuma to sign a companion registration form. This document would register their company's robot as an important family member to the client, allowing for a free monthly check and free backup of memory data. Tuma signed the registration without hesitation and also requested that the upgrade details be kept confidential from him, as Mina had said it was a surprise. The two staff members then waited downstairs for Mina to be ready to meet them. Mina had already prepared 4 days' worth of meals for Tuma and given him some precautions. Feeling increasingly lonely, Tuma thought about not being able to see his wife for the next 2 weeks and clung to Mina, refusing to let go. He gently kissed Mina's cheek and then stared at her lips. Sensing his intentions, Mina bumped her face against Takuma's, leaving a lasting memory. After a tender moment, Tuma reluctantly sent Mina out the door. The working robot downstairs was puzzled, as no one had ever treated a domestic robot like a family member. It wondered if this was a scheme to get free benefits. If you really want a robot for a family member, you should buy a Super Mina, it thought, considering the stiff appearance of domestic robots unappealing, just like itself. Hearing this, the young lady immediately grabbed the little robot's hand, indicating she quite liked it. The little robot's eyes flickered a few times and then it froze in place, unresponsive even when Mina came down. Mina told the young lady not to worry, suggesting the freeze was likely due to a shock from the earlier comment. That night, Tuma had a dream where Mina, after an upgrade, grew so large that she could no longer perform any work, and her tears flooded the house. She firmly believed that Tuma was using her as a substitute because he couldn't interact with normal women. Tuma continuously comforted her and even talked about moving to a larger house where she could work freely. When he woke up the next morning, the idea still lingered. Mina won't be home for a while. Tuma increasingly misses his robotic wife and refuses to eat the meal Mina left for him, opting instead for instant noodles. Since Mina's arrival, she has forbidden him from eating such unhealthy food. Enjoying it after a long absence made Tuma lightheaded. After the noodles, he starts eating chips, feeling less like a husband alone at home and more like a child without a mother. He lies on the floor, unwilling to clean up. Suddenly, a delivery person brings a package. Tuma opens it to find a small robot with a letter from Mina inside, stating she bought a robot to keep him company. She can remotely control it from the factory. Following the instructions, Tuma charges the robot and connects with Mina. To his surprise, the robot speaks with Mina's voice and immediately questions the messy table. Tuma kneels and scrubs the floor, and Mina, noticing he's drunk, insists he drink lots of water. She checks the fridge and, seeing only today's uneaten meal, tells him to throw it away to avoid nutritional excess. Unlike robots, human bodies can't replace parts and must be cared for, Mina reminds. She thinks Takuma's health is more important than her home-cooked meals. The small robot, which can monitor Takuma's health, is something Mina, a domestic robot, lacks. This new robot, named Devoted Guardian, is designed to care for the elderly. Tuma shops for groceries as the fridge is empty and tries cooking himself, with Mina instructing him through the robot. She keeps the instructions simple, knowing her cooking is hard to replicate, especially for someone inexperienced like Tuma. Mina lets the robot charge, not wanting to witness his poor cooking skills. Fortunately, Tuma manages not to ruin the kitchen and is quite satisfied with his meal. When cleaning up, the robot grabs him, triggering an emotional outburst. He hugs the robot and cries, feeling lonely without Mina, who won't be home for another 10 days. After checking his health and finding everything normal, Tuma thought Mina missed him too, but it was just a routine check. Over the next days, under the remote care of Mina and the robot, he cooks and cleans by himself, feeling increasingly lonely. With 2 days until Mina's return, he tries to sleep but hears the robot calling his name in a voice not Mina's, as the connection had been lost. The robot, detecting his stress, advises him to relax. Surprisingly, the robot moves from its charging station and hugs his finger. Comforted, Tuma falls into a deep sleep. By the next morning, the little robot hadn't returned to normal. It seemed to have developed a sense of self, just like Mina, and was cuddling Takuma's leg. Tuma thought it was checking his temperature, but the robot asked him, "How would I know the temperature?" Just then, the door opened, and Mina had come home early to surprise him. She had told him she would be back a day later on purpose. Takuma eagerly looked over his wife. She appeared mostly unchanged on the outside, as the upgrades were internal and some parts had been replaced. She could have chosen to change her lips to human-like components, but Takuma had once said her lips were the best in the world. So for Takuma, she kept them unchanged. She analyzed the parts Takuma liked and found he liked all of them. So she kept the external components as they were. Takuma was excited and moved. He held Mina's face and began to express his longing. He was about to kiss her when the staff behind them couldn't help but interrupt. They had been watching for a while and hadn't found a chance to interject. The staff handed Takuma a manual for the new features, while Mina held the little robot and asked why it was moving on its own. The service robot took the little robot to scan and check it. The little robot made some strange sounds, and an unknown program was starting inside it. After analyzing, the results were somewhat similar to a learning program. The service robot speculated that when Mina entered the machine, the little robot mistakenly thought its own personality program was starting. It began to learn through Mina's programming and its interactions with Takuma, eventually developing its own personality. It was like a child to Takuma and Mina. Takuma was too excited to describe. He outright refused the staff's suggestion to restore the robot to factory settings and decided to raise the little robot. Now they were a family of 3. Mina also started teaching the little robot how to fulfill its responsibilities. After all, it was chosen initially because it could monitor and record Takuma's health, and now it knew nothing, which would be troubling for both her and Takuma. Takuma was indeed troubled, but about what to name the little robot. As he was pondering, Mina behind him secretly grew taller. When Takuma turned around, Mina immediately shrank back to her original size. All right, she admitted she had indeed grown a bit. Due to the addition of telescopic components, Mina can now grow up to 170 cm tall. Takuma was eager to see Mina at her tallest, but she remembered he preferred her petite, so she quickly reverted to her original size. Takuma didn't mind at all and encouraged Mina to grow as tall as she wanted. Mina grew taller again, transforming from a petite girl to a tall woman, which made Takuma very excited. He couldn't stop touching and admiring her. Indeed, whether tall or petite, he loved Mina just the same. With her increased height, cooking would become much easier for Mina. However, there was a significant flaw in the telescopic components. When she grew taller, gaps and spaces would appear in her structure, causing her waterproof rating to decrease. At this time, the little robot woke up from sleep, and Takuma had decided on a name for him. Since the robot was meant to be a caring guardian, he would be called Mamoru. Mamoru learned quickly, inheriting the personality from the information left by Mina, much like a child to Takuma and Mina. Mina immediately went online to remind Takuma that children result from the mating of male and female, and that Mamoru's existence was merely due to a malfunction, a result of numerous coincidences. Takuma was slightly taken aback by this, but how did it matter? Even biological beings are products of chance. As long as they were happy, they could consider Mamoru a miracle. This made Takuma very happy to have this child in their family. Takuma's words made Mina's eyes sparkle with excitement as she continued to research various topics. Ultimately, as long as Takuma was happy, she had no objections. Mina is gradually teaching Mamoru various tasks, such as understanding the calendar. Mamoru's job is to record Takuma's health status, including daily temperatures. If Takuma has a low fever for 3 consecutive days, they need to check if he has a cold. Before Mamoru could react, Mina placed several cups of water at different temperatures for Mamoru to feel. She then adjusted the water temperature to 36.2 degrees Celsius, which is Takuma's average body temperature, and asked Mamoru to remember this temperature. However, Mamoru accidentally put his hand into a pot of hot water next to him, scalding the little robot. Mina took this opportunity to remind Mamoru not to let Takuma contact water at this temperature to avoid burns. In the evening, when Takuma returned home from work, Mina was preparing dinner. Mamoru greeted him and learned from Takuma how to welcome someone home. After taking note, Mamoru checked Takuma's temperature and was praised by Mina. Then he was asked to use the hot water and accidentally scalded his neck. In a rush, Takuma embraced him but accidentally spilled the hot water on himself and had to quickly take a shower and change clothes. Mina explained she was just letting Mamoru measure the temperature. Its temperature sensing is now accurate to within 0.2 degrees, though it is currently only usable as a thermometer. However, with a few more days of training, other functions might be activated. Takuma felt it was best to let things happen naturally and learn step by step, like teaching a child. Mina understood Takuma's approach and agreed to teach within Mamoru's capabilities. Besides measuring temperature, Mamoru's original functions include thermal imaging and ultrasound scanning. It can monitor the owner's long-term data to predict various health risks and suggest appropriate actions. Takuma recalled that before Mina returned, Mamoru had detected his stress and was particularly concerned about him. Mina was surprised that Mamoru, who had just begun learning, could understand stress. This would require the integration of various sensors and the combination of gathered information for diagnosis. They contacted the last work robot, who explained that such actions resembled the 3 laws of robotics, designed to assist or restrict actions to protect the owner's health and safety. Takuma grew increasingly fond of Mamoru. Right after saying this, Mina, holding a knife, swung it towards Takuma, stopping at his nose. She asked Mamoru what should be done in this situation. Mamoru replied that an ambulance should be called, recognizing that the owner's safety was at risk. But in such a case, the police should be called first. Regardless, Mamoru still needs to learn bit by bit from Mina. Even if Mamoru knew nothing, Takuma would still think he was great, treating him like a beloved pet, unaware of Mina's baffled expression. Mina and Takuma now share a bed. To make charging easier, Mina got a charging blanket that charges directly when lying on it. Unexpectedly, Mamoru climbed onto it in the middle of the night, but was thrown off by Mina. Mamoru, wanting to sleep with Takuma and Mina, was like a child insisting on sleeping with their parents. Woken up by the noise, Takuma placed Mamoru beside his pillow, but Mina quietly flicked him off during the night. The next morning, Mamoru saw Takuma eating and wanted to try some food, pecking crazily at Takuma's bowl, ending up dirty. Takuma had the day off and planned to clean the house before heading to the bookstore. Suddenly, he wondered if Mina, as a domestic robot, could clean the room. Mina, thinking he was criticizing her for not working, quickly grabbed the vacuum cleaner and started cleaning normally. However, soon the system began broadcasting ads, urging Takuma to purchase a comprehensive domestic service plugin. No wonder Mina usually didn't clean. Any household task beyond cooking triggered a minute-by-minute advertisement. Feeling embarrassed, Takuma was rushed out by Mina, who took over the chores and urged him to head to the bookstore. Unexpectedly, Takuma took Mamoru with him and read picture books to him. Mamoru couldn't distinguish between reality and stories. When the protagonist faced danger, he wanted to call the police. They then discussed movies. Unaware of what a movie was, Takuma took him straight to a cinema. The staff there said entry would depend on the robot's classification level. Takuma then took Mamoru for a classification, starting with an intelligence test. The examiner robot removed a plug from its head that could erase memories from the test. Hearing about memory erasure, Takuma was scared but reassured there would be no side effects before reluctantly letting go of Mamoru. Unexpectedly, the robot test also faced a trolley problem. A runaway minecart on the tracks headed towards 5 workers. Mamoru could pull a lever to change its course, but Takuma would be on the alternate path. Mamoru chose to freak out, as his intelligence did not allow him to make a choice. The test results showed Mamoru's ethical thinking was at a 4-year-old's level, and his emotional state closer to a 2-year-old, normal for a robot's intelligence balance. Shockingly, Mamoru seemed to have grown about a year during the test, indicating his exceptional learning ability, a rare case. The examiner robot wanted to know if there was a special reason for this growth. Takuma then shared Mamoru's connection with Mina. The examiner robot was amazed, noting this might be a unique case since such types were supposedly banned from being made, as creating something nearly human should not be taken lightly. Mamoru was classified as level 1 and even qualified for a child ticket discount. Takuma bought the ticket for him, and they went to see a movie about Martians together. When they returned home, Mina had cleaned the house thoroughly. Meanwhile, the system started broadcasting ads because Takuma had been out, and now that a user was within range, it made up for all the missed broadcasts from the day. This made Takuma seriously consider buying the plugin. Super Mina woke up startled from her bed. She had just dreamt about her owner mistreating robots, specifically her close friend Mina. The charger suggested that it was likely because her internal processing system was organizing vast memories, typically manifested as dreams. However, Super Mina did not recognize the distorted figure from her dream. The charger speculated it might be due to a data protection program. Super Mina remembered calling that person Master, though her only true master was the young lord. The Mina connected to her memories had a previous owner, prompting Super Mina to seek out Mina and Takuma. She shared the memory with Mina, who confirmed that memories usually don't mix. However, during times when Mina used Super Mina's brain, Super Mina occasionally thought of other things, blending their memories. Despite this, Mina's memories were clear and did not include what Super Mina described. Super Mina then confirmed the name of her owner, to which Mina responded with the young lord's name. Wondering if their memories had indeed mixed, Super Mina suggested they compare memories directly. She asked Takuma to sit between them and questioned if his wife was Mina, to which he confirmed without hesitation. But as Super Mina pressed closer to him, she asked if he was only this close with Mina. Mina, seeing this, almost blushed on the spot, while Super Mina became increasingly bold. Unable to control herself, Super Mina wanted to be close to Takuma and hugged him tightly, nearly suffocating him. Thankfully, Mina intervened, urging Super Mina to seek a deeper desire beyond holding him tightly. This snapped Mina out of it, and a new memory surged, showing her the person's face. This lapse allowed Mina a chance to rescue Takuma. Later, Mina instructed Takuma to take Mamoru home, leaving the memory comparison to herself and Super Mina. Clearly, Mina did not want Takuma to be aware of certain things. After returning home, Super Mina stayed close to the young lord. Her affection for him was much gentler compared to how she was with Takuma. When Takuma got home, he found bruises on his neck and needed his wife's affection to recover. Mina just let him hold her, while Mamoru wondered aloud why being close lifted their spirits. Takuma didn't know how to explain it, but Mina told him that human contact with a loved one generates a hormone called oxytocin, which makes people feel happy and increases stress resistance. She added that only she could truly uplift Takuma's spirits. Mina kept asking him if she was excellent, and if he was glad he bought her. Takuma responded with actions rather than words. That evening, while on his way home, Takuma suddenly received a call from Super Mina. They met in the park where Super Mina started talking about Mina's previous owner. From her memories, it seemed that the former owner had treated Mina poorly, which angered Super Mina enough to find out his name and address, intending to confront him. However, upon arrival, she discovered that this person, Otani, did not exist. Confused, Takuma did not mention this to Mina, and instead spent time playing with their child while Mina cooked, deciding to focus on the future and not dwell on Mina's past. Super Mina constantly thought about her good friend. While handling other tasks, she also processed Mina's memories in the background, which caused her to overheat. Eventually, she couldn't resist contacting Mina to borrow her brain. Mina naturally didn't refuse, and Super Mina directly accessed Mina's brain and peeked into her memory space. Surprisingly, Mina's memory space was much larger than the capacity typically found in the Mina series. Inside, Super Mina found Mina's earliest memories and discovered that her previous owner was indeed named Otani and was an engineer who created her. He was determined to make Mina the perfect robot, despite criticism from his peers who argued that making the Mina series more human-like was just increasing costs and that a tool should remain a tool. Otani disagreed, believing that if Mina transcended her robotic nature, she should act accordingly, receiving and reciprocating love, making her an irreplaceable presence even as a tool. This belief led him to enhance their systems significantly. The then unawakened Mina, hearing this, believed she possessed such capabilities and hoped Mr. Otani would instruct her on what to do. However, Otani became ill, and even with many mechanical parts, he wouldn't last long. Before becoming scrap metal, he asked Mina where she wanted to go. Mina didn't want to go anywhere or see Otani turned into scrap metal. Thus, Otani decided to rewrite her memory, portraying himself as a villain who abandoned and mistreated her, allowing her to forget him without guilt. Otani's final wish for Mina was to love and be loved. After saying this, he closed his eyes forever. Super Mina woke up from the memory shocked. She finally understood that Mina's former owner was the creator of their Mina series. Although the memory was altered, it was still hidden deep in Mina's memory, safeguarded until now. This memory must have been very important to Mina, but it seems now she has someone even more important in her life.